Wait, guys, listen, I got another one. Listen. I got another one. A priest, a nun, and Thor walk into a bar. Have you heard this one? Have you heard it? You haven't heard it? You haven't heard it, right? You haven't heard it? You haven't heard it either? Nobody's heard it? Nobody's heard it? Okay. A priest, the nun, and a Thor walk into a bar. And the nun says, "Why don't you watch what you're doing, Murdoch? You messed up my whole joke. Open your eyes and watch what you're doing. I'll fight you right now. I don't give a care." I picked up the figure I wanted the second most from the Captain America Civil War series that just came out, and that is the Unmasked Iron Man. You know, they really should just call it Marvel Civil War and just get rid of the Captain America. Look how small it is. I mean, that just reads like Civil War to me, unless you read it really close. I mean, just call it Civil War. Or Avengers Civil War. The box art, pretty cool with the shield in the back. I am liking this box art, even though I'm making fun of the little Captain America. The one I do want the most, though, is the Black Panther. And I want him with the mask. I know there's going to be exclusive with him without the mask, but I think the mask is the coolest part of that. The Falcon looks really cool, even though I'm not a big fan of that character. The Falcon does look cool in that action pose. I'm guessing he's going to have a stand like the Superman guy does. And War Machine isn't War Machine if he doesn't have his big gun in the back. I mean, I guess you can't really tell from this, but we'll see. GameStop's supposed to have a action pose Captain America, but I didn't see him in the stores today, even though I think some of them do have him. And of course, Crossbones, I really want to get. Here's Tony Stark in the flesh. And right off the bat, I'm going to say that this is my favorite Iron Man pop they've made. I really like this idea of making one with his helmet half off, like how he lifts it up in the movies, because you get the best of both worlds. You get the unmasked, Tony Stark face, plus you get the helmet. So it's a great idea. I did see a custom of this a while ago. Some guy made a custom with this helmet up, almost identical to this in the way it's executed here by Funko. And he did do it first, but I guess he should feel honored that Funko did it as well. And, Funko's probably going to do it anyway, whether he made it or not. But nonetheless, he should feel pretty honored about that, because he did do it first. The body sculpt is really nice. There's a lot of little intricate details. And the painting is really good, because with so many little parts to him, it could have easily gotten sloppy. It's especially nice on the back. Look at that. Looks really good. And I liked how they kind of have some seams in between the armor plating here. It does look like it's multiple pieces glued on instead of just one big sculpted piece. I think this looks way better. It's more true to the character. Just overall, really, really perfect Iron Man. If I had to nitpick one thing though, and it's not exactly a biggie, but they could have done a lot better job of this, is I like how they're molding the mustaches now instead of just painting them on. I really like how they're getting away from just painting them on like the eyebrows. But the way this one is painted, they kind of forgot to paint the top of the mustache. The top of the mustache is just the flesh color. To me, that's really sloppy and almost unfinished. I don't know why they did that. I mean, because they can easily paint that. I've seen them do it perfectly on other pops. They do that a little bit on his mask here too. They kind of didn't paint the top. And this was true of all of the Iron Mans I saw. They had about 15 at the Hot Topic, and they all had that same thing. So I just figured that's what they were going to be like. Which kind of sucks, but again, if you're not looking at it this close, you hardly notice it when you're just looking at him from a normal distance or he's just on your shelf. It's when you really get down and scrutinize it that you notice those kind of things. But, all collectors do like their things to be perfect, and they all do notice that kind of stuff. I also think his mustache maybe should have been a little bit darker, because this in person really reads as a medium kind of brown. And I think Tony Stark's hair is just a little bit darker. It's almost black. But that one's a small nitpick. Because other than that, he is a really, really good Iron Man pop. I also picked up Black Widow. Let me give you a quick look at her box art. You know, I'm probably eventually going to just end up picking them all up. I do notice that she looks a lot more tan in the pop than she does on the box art here. She looks pretty pale here. It looks like she's been hitting the beach. The first thing I noticed about Black Widow after taking her out of the box is how big her head looks. Like they gave her this big old melon head. Look at it compared to Tony's. It just looks a lot bigger. I don't know if it's the small body and the big hair causing an optical illusion, making it look that way. But it does look bigger. Her face looks wider. I do like, though, the way they sculpted her hair. I think it looks really nice. Funko's really stepping up their hair sculpting game, for sure. But the best part about her is how well they got her body sculpt. Look at that. Look at all those small little details and how well it's painted. Not one paint flaw on the body. We got the Scarlett Johansson booty on point. Good job with that. Looks like the sculptor spent a little extra time on that. The one thing, though, that I think they dropped the ball on this with is the hairline isn't sloppy, but it seems to be in the wrong place. Like, her face, like, goes in and kind of bends out. And, I mean, they did a nice clean hairline. It's just, should have been like a 1/4 inch closer to her face, I think. And it does look kind of weird the way her eyelashes are cut off because of this. Like, if the hair was better placed, it would look more natural that her eyelashes are cut off. But you see her eyebrows cut off too, and it's supposed to be cut off by the hair. But since it doesn't get all the way to the hair, it just looks a little weird. And, yeah, so I think they could have done a better job with that. But I think she looks good overall. This is the first Black Widow I own because I didn't really like the other ones. And this one I liked, except for those couple of small things. But I think everything else looks good. Black Widow comes with a stand, so she's still pretty sturdy even when her head is bobbling. And so is Tony. Tony is a Hot Topic exclusive. They had about 15 to 20 of them when I went today around noon. They're usually pretty good at having a good stock of their exclusives, so you shouldn't be too hard to find if you keep checking back. They only had about 4 Black Widows, but she's the normal version, and she'll eventually start trickling into the stores in a couple of weeks, along with all the other normal versions. So if you're looking for them, they shouldn't be too hard to find. Walk away, Murdoch. Just walk away, that's right. Keep walking. Tony, you're drunk. Shut up, I've got another joke. I don't care. I've got another joke. Yeah, got another joke. So Hulk, a nun, and a dog catcher walk into a bar. Tony, you're drunk. Shut up! Shut up!